We live in a moment that loves quick answers and tidy rules about bodies: what's clean, what's sexy, what's acceptable. I want to start by saying something simple and sharp: none of those rules belong to anyone but you. Your body is not a public project, it's yours to decide on, to care for, and to protect. There are a million choices people make about their bodies, and none of them should be used as a shortcut to judge someone's worth or intelligence or character. Hair, no hair, trimmed, natural, these are personal preferences, not moral statements. The myths that say otherwise are loud because they sell products and clicks, not because they are true. Let's separate the noise from practical reality. Hygiene is about habits, not hair. Washing with gentle soap, wearing breathable fabrics, changing underwear regularly, and paying attention to any changes are what keep you healthy. Pubic hair itself does not cause infection or dirtiness. If you're choosing a grooming style because it actually makes you feel more comfortable, that's a valid choice. If you're changing because you feel pressured, that's worth investigating. Ask yourself, am I doing this for me, or for someone else's approval? That question is always worth an honest answer. There's also a health angle most people misunderstand. Aggressive hair removal techniques, harsh chemicals, DIY waxing with unregulated products, or repeated shaving with dull blades can lead to irritation, micro tears, and infections. If you decide to remove hair, do it thoughtfully. Use methods that suit your skin, give yourself time to heal between sessions, and consult a healthcare professional if you notice any persistent issues. Practical care is not moralizing, it's simple common sense. Treat your body like the only one you'll ever have. Sexuality and pleasure are complicated and deeply personal. No single physical trait predicts someone's sexual life, desires, or capacity for intimacy. Reducing people to surface features is not only insulting, it's untrue. Intimacy is built on communication, consent, curiosity, and mutual respect. If you want to be more confident in intimate situations, practice clear communication. Ask what your partner likes, tell them what you want, and expect the same openness in return. Confidence doesn't come from conforming to a trend, it comes from knowing and advocating for your needs. Social pressure plays a huge role here. The image of the ideal body has shifted over decades and across cultures. Sometimes trends are driven by fashion industries, sometimes by pornography, sometimes by influencers with filters and lighting. Trends change, bodies don't need to. If you find yourself feeling ashamed or anxious about a natural part of your body, try stepping away from the places that amplify that shame. Unfollow accounts that make you feel insecure. Surround yourself with people and media that value authenticity over aesthetics. You'll notice the pressure eases when you stop feeding it. There's also a dignity and consent element we need to insist on. Commenting on other people's bodies in ways that shame or judge is never acceptable. If someone chooses a personal grooming style, respond with respect. If you're in a position to support someone, a friend, a partner, listen first. Ask before you give unsolicited advice. Model the behavior you want to see. Respect is not optional, it's basic human decency. Sometimes people equate grooming with maturity or cleanliness because of internalized messages from childhood, partners, or cultural norms. Unpack those messages. Where did they come from? Are they grounded in your values or someone else's? You have permission to decide differently. You can choose what makes sense for your life, your comfort, your health. That's empowerment in practice. If you're worried about health, whether it's itching, unusual discharge, or anything that feels off, consult a healthcare provider rather than relying on internet forums or shame-driven advice. Professionals provide facts, not judgment. They can help you understand what's normal, what's not, and what treatments or preventative care might be right for you. Being proactive about health is an act of self-respect, not something to hide. Finally, cultivate compassion for yourself. Bodies change over time. They respond to stress, to hormones, to the seasons of life. Give yourself the same grace you'd offer a close friend. When you catch yourself thinking a harsh thought about your body, pause and reframe it. Replace criticism with curiosity. What do I need right now? Comfort, practical care, a new perspective. Small changes add up. Stand for your right to decide. Don't hand that power to a trend, a comment, or a noisy algorithm. Make choices that reflect your comfort, your health, and your dignity. Demand respect from others and model it back. When we stop turning each other into tests and start treating each other like whole people, everything shifts. Your worth is not measured by any single physical trait. It's measured by how you treat yourself and how you show up for others. Choose clarity over rumor, kindness over judgment, and information over fear. Personal choice is a fundamental expression of autonomy and respect, and when it comes to grooming, that choice should be treated with the same seriousness as any other decision about one's body. Choosing how to present, care for, or style your body, whether that means removing hair, trimming, shaping, or keeping hair natural, is an intimate, individual decision shaped by comfort, culture, identity, and practical needs. It is not a moral indicator, and it should never be used to infer character, intelligence, or worth. Grooming choices are responses to a mixture of personal comfort, aesthetic preference, medical advice, and social context, and reducing them to a simple moral judgment erases the complexity of lived experience. When someone makes a grooming decision, they are exercising control over their own body, and that control deserves to be affirmed rather than policed. Listening without condemnation allows people to explain the practical reasons behind a choice and prevents shame from shaping private decisions. Public conversations should center on consent and safety rather than arbitrary standards of propriety. This perspective matters in everyday interactions, at work, and in intimate relationships. Imagine a friend confiding that they prefer a certain grooming style because it relieves discomfort or protects against chafing during exercise. A supportive response focuses on practical care and empathy, not ridicule. Personal choice requires us to accept that different bodies have different needs and that those needs change across time and circumstance. Autonomy in relationships means negotiating preferences with respect, not issuing mandates. Partners can share what they like and why, but the final decision about another person's body rests with that person alone. Healthy intimacy grows from negotiation, mutual curiosity, and reciprocity, and it falters when one person seeks to control another's appearance. Cultural background plays a significant role in shaping grooming norms, and recognizing cultural difference helps dissolve quick judgments. Practices that are normative within one community may be uncommon elsewhere, and neither should be treated as universally superior. Historical perspective reveals that grooming norms shift with fashion, technology, and changing medical advice, which underscores their contingency. Providing accurate information about grooming techniques and risks is essential to enabling genuine choice. Misinformation, stigma, and rumors can push people toward harmful methods or create needless worry about normal variations. Evidence-based guidance about safe hair removal methods, skin care, and signs that warrant medical attention empowers people to make decisions aligned with their values and well-being. Access to professional advice also supports autonomy by reducing fear and uncertainty. Social policing of grooming often reflects deeper dynamics of control and surveillance, and resisting that impulse protects personal dignity. When people feel free to decide without fear of gossip or public shaming, they can make choices that suit their daily lives rather than perform for an external audience. Families and communities can model respect by teaching children that personal grooming is private and by discouraging commentary that shames others. Education about bodily autonomy and consent reinforces the idea that commentary on someone else's body is inappropriate unless invited. Finally, honoring personal choice means cultivating self-compassion and curiosity rather than internalized judgment. People sometimes change grooming habits because they want to please someone else or because they feel pressured by trends, and those shifts often leave a residue of resentment or insecurity. Reclaiming choice means asking inward questions about motivation and aligning actions with personal comfort and health. When society treats grooming as an individual, practical decision rather than a moral verdict, it preserves individual dignity and encourages healthier decision-making. Workplaces and public institutions can support personal choice by adopting policies that respect privacy and provide accommodations for health and comfort, such as private changing areas and non-discrimination rules. Media literacy helps too. Understanding how advertising and edited imagery create unrealistic expectations reduces pressure to conform. Health professionals and educators should use inclusive, judgment-free language so conversations about grooming are framed as matters of comfort and evidence rather than morality, and they should offer accessible guidance about safe practices and when to seek medical care, empowering people to choose in light of both preference and well-being and bodily autonomy reasons. Hygiene is about repeatable, sensible habits rather than the presence or absence of hair, and understanding that distinction frees people from shame and helps them take practical care of their bodies. Daily habits like gentle cleansing, wearing breathable fabrics, changing underwear regularly, and drying thoroughly after bathing reduce odor and irritation regardless of grooming choices. The genital area has a delicate balance of skin and mucous membranes that depend on appropriate pH and lubrication. Disrupting that balance with aggressive cleansers or scented products can cause dryness, itching, or infections. Water and a mild, unscented cleanser applied with a soft touch removes sweat and surface debris without stripping natural oils. When people conflate hair with dirt, they often overlook the more important behaviors that actually matter. How often garments are changed, whether moisture is allowed to sit against skin, whether irritants like synthetic fabrics or tight clothing are used for long periods, and whether one responds promptly to symptoms like persistent itching or unusual discharge. Shaving, waxing, or using chemical depilatories introduces its own hygiene considerations. Microabrasions from shaving and skin trauma from waxing create entry points for bacteria and increase the risk of folliculitis if not cared for properly. That does not mean hair is dirty, it means that any grooming method requires its own set of aftercare practices, such as gentle cleansing, avoiding friction from tight clothing immediately after hair removal, and allowing time for the skin to recover before applying potentially irritating products. Preventive habits include changing out of wet workout clothes promptly, using breathable cotton underwear when possible, and laundering garments in adequately hot water with recommended detergents to remove bodily oils and bacteria. For people who sweat more in that area, choosing looser fitting shorts or underwear during exercise and using moisture-wicking fabrics temporarily can reduce irritation, while also taking long showers or frequent hot baths can strip skin of oils and should be balanced with moisturizing practices when necessary. Menstrual hygiene follows the same principle. Frequent changes of pads, tampons, or cleaning and storing reusable products properly reduce bacterial growth and skin irritation. Menstrual cups and reusable pads are safe when cleaned and maintained according to manufacturer instructions, and they are not inherently less hygienic than disposable options. Many commercial products promise fresh scent or protection but rely on fragrances and chemicals that are unnecessary and can be harmful for sensitive skin. Douching is a classic example of a misguided practice that confuses scent with cleanliness. It disrupts the vagina's natural flora and pH and is associated with increased risk of infections and complications. Medical guidance consistently recommends against douching for routine hygiene and encourages gentle external cleansing only. Understanding the difference between normal variations, such as mild odor that fluctuates across the menstrual cycle or with diet, and signs of infection that require medical attention is a key component of good hygiene. Normal variations can often be managed with improved habits, changing underwear more frequently, staying hydrated, and avoiding highly processed foods that may alter body odor for some individuals. Signs that warrant a clinician's evaluation include persistent or sharp changes in smell, itching that does not respond to over-the-counter measures, abnormal discharge with a different color or texture, or pain.